My name is Callista. I had just finished tying the silver ribbon around the final gift, my kitchen warm with the scent of cinnamon and cloves, when my phone buzzed on the counter. The message was from my son, Caleb. "We're swamped this year, no time to travel. Let's do a Zoom after lunch." That was it. No apology, no sorrow. Just 4 sentences that erased the Christmas I'd spent weeks preparing for. I felt a coldness spread through my chest that had nothing to do with the winter outside. What I didn't know then was that this simple, dismissive text was just the final, flimsy layer on a foundation of betrayal. The true gift they sent me wasn't wrapped in paper or tied with a ribbon. It was a lie, a forgery, and the last straw that would change my life forever. If you've ever had to stand up for yourself against people who should have had your back, you're in the right place. We're about to dive into a story about a mother who finally realized she wasn't a bank, she was a person. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and get ready for a story where the quietest revenge is the sweetest. Let's begin. I stared at the text message on my phone, my thumb hovering over the screen, unsure of what to even say. The timer on the oven beeped twice before I remembered to take the cookies out, the ones I'd baked every year since Caleb was 10. They were meant for him and for his wife, Danica. The silence in the house, broken only by the quiet hum of the refrigerator, felt vast and hollow. I walked into the living room, past the twinkling tree. The chairs across from the kitchen table, which my husband and I had bought secondhand in 1985, stood empty. I had already ironed the linens. I'd even bought extra almond milk for Danica's coffee. The wind howled outside, a long, mournful sound, and I pulled my shawl tighter, looking out at the frozen lake beyond my backyard. It was beautiful and still, and in that stillness, I realized the quiet truth. Their absence was a habit. The excuses were just the packaging. The silence lasted 2 days. Then a thick yellow envelope arrived, wedged between a catalog and a heating bill on my front porch, dusted with frost. It was marked priority overnight in bold red letters and stamped from Palo Alto, where Caleb and Danica lived. I assumed it was a belated card, maybe a late apology. I opened it standing in the doorway, my boots still wet from the snowbank. Inside were glossy, official-looking documents. The first page bore the name of a luxury car dealership. My eyes scanned the details. Invoice paid in full, followed by Tesla Model Y, pearl white, full self-driving upgrade. The total was over $52,000. My hands went cold. And then I saw it. Amber M. Moore, co-signer. Tucked beside the papers like a sarcastic afterthought was a neon pink sticky note in Danica's unmistakable bubble script. It read, "Thanks for helping with the car, Mom. It's really a gift for me. You're amazing." A cold wave of dread washed over me. I had never stepped foot in a dealership. I hadn't signed anything. I sat down at the kitchen table, the paper feeling heavy in my hands, and read the loan document line by line, searching for a single detail that would make this a mistake. But the account number was there, my name, my address. Then I saw the part with my signature. My breath caught in my throat. It was a digital signature, slightly slanted, mimicking my handwriting, but it wasn't right. The loops were too neat. The curve on the capital M was too perfect. I had seen this before. Caleb had copied my signature once in the 3rd grade to get out of a missed assignment. He hadn't gotten any better at it. I waited for a phone call, an explanation. None came. Instead, 2 hours later, I got a Venmo request for $389.64. The memo read, "Tesla Insurance." It had a party hat emoji. I didn't respond. I just deleted it. And in that quiet deletion, I finally saw the pattern. This wasn't the new act of desperation. It was a new tier of entitlement. I thought back to the past 5 years. After Caleb's startup collapsed, I wired him $6,000 from a whispered phone call at a rooftop bar. When Danica ended up in the ER after an IVF attempt, they sent me the bill, highlighted in red, uninsured. I paid it. They never mentioned it again. The wedding venue had surprise charges. I dipped into the CD I'd opened after my husband died. Danica sent a thank you basket with expensive olives. Then came the rent, first 1 month, then a second. The third time, there was no ask, just a silent transfer request in my banking app. Each time I told myself it was love, that I was filling a gap my father would have covered, that this was how mothers show up. But somewhere along the way, the thank you stopped, the hesitation disappeared, the requests became assumptions. Now, staring at the Tesla papers and that forged signature, I saw it clearly for the first time. I hadn't been helping. I had been financing their life without permission, and they had just crossed the line from expectation into outright theft. The next morning, my voice steady but low, I called the dealership. "I'm calling about a loan," I said, reciting the account number. "I need to verify the co-signer's signature." The woman on the other end was polite until she paused. "We received the signature via DocuSign, timestamped 2 weeks ago. Looks like it was signed from an IP registered to Los Altos." I asked her to send me a copy of the digital file. It arrived 5 minutes later, my name in perfect, unnatural loops, a ghost signature on a ghost document, and I was the one who was supposed to pay. I didn't call Caleb. I couldn't trust what I might say. But he texted that afternoon. "You got the invoice, right? Thought it'd be cleaner if it came straight from the dealer. Just cover it monthly. It's easier this way." No greeting, no question, no apology. I typed a single reply. No. Less than 5 minutes later, a new message appeared. This time, from Danica. "It's already public, Calista. I posted a thank you post. Please don't make this awkward." She attached a screenshot of a photo. Her, hugging the pearl-white Tesla in their driveway, both dressed in matching white outfits. The caption read, "Can't believe my MIL got us a car. Blessed. Dream-driven. Hashtag family first." It had hundreds of likes. I pressed my fingers into the edge of my kitchen table, grounding myself against the rising heat behind my eyes. They had erased me and replaced me with a caricature of a perfect mother, then paraded the liar like a badge of honor. My phone buzzed nonstop for the next day with messages from old neighbors, former colleagues, and people I hadn't spoken to in years. "Such a generous mom. You're amazing." The worst were the ones that congratulated me for finally getting the recognition you deserved. The recognition was for a lie. I went silent. I logged into Facebook and quietly deleted my account. I set my Instagram to private. I turned my phone face down. That night, I couldn't sleep. I just lay there, blinking in the dark, wondering how long I had been a prop in their lives, a background figure to be used when convenient and forgotten when not. An email from Danica landed in my inbox the next morning. "We know you're not happy, but remember, appearances matter. Let's not ruin the vibe." I didn't answer. I opened a new browser tab and searched for the number to my bank. I dialed with fingers I had to force to stay steady. The hold music played for 13 minutes. When a representative finally answered, I asked them to review all linked accounts and any third-party access. "Do you want to freeze all external connections, Miss Moore?" the representative asked kindly. "Yes," I said, "all of them." It took less than 5 minutes. Every authorized user, every shared login, every backup email, all gone. Next, I called the dealership and asked for their legal department. I explained the fraudulent signature. The woman took notes and agreed to send a written statement confirming that the loan was not finalized. After I hung up, I found the number for Henry, a friend and retired lawyer. "They spoofed your digital ID," he said, after I explained everything, his voice calm and certain. "You didn't authorize it, Cal, and now you need to make sure it gets undone." "I know," I said. "I want results." That evening, I called the financing office again and asked to speak to a supervisor. When a man named Victor came on the line, I gave my full name, the loan number, and said the words I'd been rehearsing all day. My name was used fraudulently. I didn't sign. I want the vehicle repossessed, immediately. There was a long pause. "Understood," he said. "We'll begin proceedings." I didn't tell Caleb. I didn't tell Danica. I let the silence do its work. 2 days later, the storm hit. Not here. in my quiet home, where the snow had started to melt in soft rings around the tree trunks, but in California, where Danica had just begun her morning live stream. I wasn't watching it live, but a friend forwarded me the clip later. She was in the driveway, the camera angled toward the Tesla, talking about manifesting abundance. In the middle of her monologue, a white tow truck pulled up behind her. She kept talking, laughing nervously, until a man in a reflective vest stepped into the frame. "Ma'am, I need to take the vehicle." Danica blinked, her smile faltering. "Wait, what's going on? That's my car," she snapped. The stream cut off seconds later. My phone rang 5 minutes after that. It was Caleb. I let it buzz once, twice, then go to voicemail. He called again, then again. Finally, a text appeared. "Mom, what the hell did you do?" I blocked his number without a single response. There was no swelling music, no triumphant feeling. It wasn't revenge. It was removal. It was the act of closing a door that had been swinging open for too long, letting in a cold air I had mistaken for company. I just stood, breathed, and preheated the oven. I baked lemon muffins that afternoon, real lemons, and walked them 2 doors down to Joni, who opened the door with a smile and offered me her usual mug of spiced tea.
We talked for an hour about seed catalogs and the rising price of eggs. She never once asked me for anything. That night, I slept with the window open, and for the first time in weeks, the air felt clean. I started to wonder what else they had tried to take. A forensic accountant named Marcy found 2 other abandoned auto loan inquiries in my name from the past 6 months, both out of state. One for a BMW, one for a luxury camper van. They weren't just after the Tesla. That had been the one that landed. The others were warm-ups. This wasn't poor judgment or a miscommunication. It was a pattern, a quiet system I hadn't known I was part of. The final straw arrived in a thick white envelope in my mailbox. My attorney had sent the finalized version of my new will. My estate, modest but clean, no longer flowed toward Caleb. Instead, it was now directed to 3 places: a scholarship fund for teen girls, the West Haven Public Library, and Joni's Animal Shelter. Tucked inside was a separate note to be delivered to Caleb if something happened to me. It read, "Family isn't who invoices you, it's who protects you." No explanation, no apology, just clarity. Later that evening, someone forwarded me another of Danica's videos. She was crying on camera, her makeup smudged, sitting in the same driveway where the Tesla used to be. "Some people destroy their own family over money," she said through tears. "I guess I just wasn't born rich enough for her love." I closed my laptop, then opened each of my social accounts and one by one deleted them. Not deactivated, but deleted. Gone. There was no need to explain my side. The people who mattered already knew. The rest had made up their minds, and I had nothing left to prove. Sometimes the most satisfying revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting free. It's about walking away and closing the door on the people who drain you and opening yourself up to the ones who fill you back up. I hope this story inspires you to know your own worth and to stand up for your boundaries. If you love this, subscribe to the channel for more stories of justice and empowerment. Let me know in the comments, what's the most satisfying moment of vindication you've ever had? I can't wait to hear your stories.